Welcome, our fellow lovers of love, and thank you for joining us on yet another excursion through the stream of consciousness, down the river of tranquility, to fill the lake of life with love.
And good evening, our fellow lovers of love out there from a sweltering Sacramento. It is warm out here tonight, Lovey. I'm gonna have to put that.
It is.
We've got a man. It's always something with us, isn't it?
I'm afraid so.
It's just we always get some technical issues. Anyway, on this sweltering episode of Late Night Love, we're offering a sanctuary of support and guidance for those weathering the storms of life. We open with a story of compassion and legal conundrums as we discuss the implications of providing a home for a friend in need. And then we navigate tricky terrains of family dynamics, sensitive issues with siblings and the burns of betrayals and the light of struggling parents and, affirming a child's identity that comes with care, and, these kind of things. We talk about workplace issues, from dissecting dilemmas of unfair management to maintaining God, this is going to be an interesting show. I can't speak. Maintaining decorum online. So join us for this episode that embraces the complexities of love, family, and work with empathy and wisdom, but apparently not proper English. That's what's not going to happen here tonight. Man, some nights I like that. But it is warm here tonight, and we need to put that portable air conditioner back out here. But anyway, we're going to start off with, I know sometimes we start off with video, but I did find our things is arcing here tonight. But before we go, you can find us on KUBU 96.5 FM Tuesdays at midnight, or Tuesday mornings at midnight, or Monday night at midnight, depending upon your point of view at midnight. We're still there. I still don't know how to describe that. 12 a.m. Tuesday. Oh, yeah. 12 a.m. Tuesday morning. Think of it that way. Anyway.
Midnight.
Yeah, it's midnight. But is it midnight? You know how people are. Some people's midnight is still the same day.
It's true.
So anyway, if you're a morning person, it's 12 a.m. Tuesday. If you're a night person, it's midnight on Monday nights.
There we go.
Yeah, but I've got to say it twice. Whatever. We could find that out. And just to let you know that the PCS film tickets, I think, are going on sale for the Access Sacramento's place called Sacramento Film Festival. You can get early bird tickets for those of you here in Sacramento. Go to accesssacramento.org and find the information about that online. All right. So what are we starting off with tonight, Lovey?
Well, we're starting off with an interesting question. And it's a little heartfelt. I have a friend who is 17 and turns 18 in 4 months. He just got kicked out by his pretty abusive parents. Me and my parents would love to take him in, but how much legal trouble could we get in?
Okay, now, depending upon location, there's always a caveat to that. At that stage, probably none. Is my guess.
Yeah.
The courts and what are pretty lenient to 17-year-olds who've been kicked out of their house at this stage. And so if it ever gets to that child, the one caveat I would say is don't cross state lines until he's 18. Don't take him cross state lines, at least until you know where things sit. You may, if you have somebody who knows a lawyer, it may be worth a couple $100 for a conversation with a lawyer.
Yeah.
Just if you really want to be safe. But my guess is at 17, it's not relevant. The police aren't likely to interfere. And if the family raises a stink, they're the ones who are likely the ones to end up in trouble in the long run. And while that's a possibility, it's not high, but you do have to be prepared to deal with that. But clearly you are, because you were willing to take them in. And I think society is a much better place because of families like yours who are willing to take people in. When their families, for whatever reason, families can break down for lots of reasons. And And it's easy to sit out and judge. But, there could be tragedies that people haven't recovered from. And while we can judge, it's also easy to understand how broken people can do broken people things. And yeah. So I don't know. My suggestion is to spend a couple of $100 and talk to a family lawyer just to cover your backside. But my guess is none. Don't cross over state lines. Even though at 17, you're probably safe in most places, but don't take them over state lines, because that's the one thing that could probably trigger something. Even though at 17-and-a-half-year-old male, no one cares. So, especially if his parents don't at that stage.
That's so sad.
It is. And, I don't want to be overly judgmental, because we know how things can break down. Families can break down. And, sometimes you can't break the chains of family abuse. And, it's very difficult to do that. And so, while on one hand, yes, you are responsible for your actions, you can't blame, your own upbringing for your failures as a parent. But at the other side of it, it is all too human. And, but the grace of God go I, or but the grace of God, my family didn't fall apart before I learned my lessons, these type of things. So our heart breaks and goes out and thanks you at the same time for putting yourself in a position to help somebody, because the world needs more of that. And while it is actually filled with that, we read these stories of it filled with it every day. Those don't get seen. But there's never enough goodness. And no matter how little badness there is, it's always too much. So that's the way it is. So Godspeed, go you. Okay, what's next? Ooh, that's the wrong phrase, wasn't it? I don't think it is. That's just good travels. Okay.
Now we're going to talk about relationship questions.
Ooh, our favorite ones, because I always get myself in trouble on these things. Oh, speaking of, if you want to send us letters of hate and arguments, you can send them to love@latenightLove.us. If I ever mash an answer up so bad. Okay, what do we got next?
Okay. How do I ask my overweight sister not to sit in my chair?
Okay, so these are both about 30, right? They're close in age. They're over 30. This is one of these questions that I don't understand, because as siblings, most of the time you're just blunt with your siblings.
Well, apparently this one isn't.
Sisters.
Well, she's trying to. Apparently, she knows this is going to be an issue.
Well, yeah. But normally older sisters don't really have a trouble pointing out realities to younger ones. They've been doing it their whole lives. It kind of comes naturally. And it's just a delicate conversation. There's no easy way to have delicate conversations except delicately. And I know that doesn't really answer the question, but there's no single answer. I mean, the problem is you're worried about the chair being broken, and she can't be oblivious to these realities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if she is, you're actually doing her a favor by bringing it up, as much painful as it is. But I doubt she's oblivious to these kind of things.
No, she's not oblivious.
So you just have to approach it with as much care and delicacy as you would want it approached to you. Or if you and your sister are complete opposites, the exact opposite of it. Your sister. Sometimes, it's the other way around. You know how siblings are vastly different. You know how to approach your sibling with a difficult conversation. What you actually need is an emotional nudge to go ahead and do it, because you don't want to hurt your sister's feelings. That's the real issue here. Maybe your sister's going to get upset, but the reality is you don't want to hurt your sister's feelings. If you didn't care, you just do it anyway. You do it like a guy would do it, and be overly blunt. And Guys don't have this problem. We know how to tell our friends, brothers, and whatnot not to sit in our chair because they're words I can't say on the air. We'll break it. We just do. You just say that. Right? Now, if your brother happens or friend happens to be overly sensitive, you may tone down the thing a little bit, but generally speaking, you just deal with it head on. But women are different. They're different creatures, and so you deal with them differently. And so you know how to deal with your sister. You got this. That's what she really needs. She doesn't actually need to know how to approach her sister. She needs the encouragement to go do it. Because she doesn't want to hurt her sister's feeling, but she also doesn't want her chair broken. So buy a bigger, new, comfortable chair.
It's going to be an uncomfortable conversation. Yeah.
But she knows it won't be as uncomfortable as you fear because she's not stupid. Okay, what's next?
My triplet nieces came to me to treat their sunburn. Do I wait for this to happen again before confronting their parents?
Confronting their parents over a sunburn? You just treat their sunburn and they move on. You're just the closest adult for them to go to treat your parent to their sunburn at some point. What is there to go to? You put the, what is it, calamine lotion or whatever the heck it is? I forget.
Aloe vera.
Yeah, whatever it is, your sunburn treatment on there, and you send them on their way. Nothing to treat for. Sunburns are a natural part of childhood. It just is. The children will learn the lesson. You don't need to teach them anything. And you actually teach them how to treat themselves next time, and they're all the better. There's nothing to confront here. What is this need society has today? To every little potential mistake by a parent has to be confronted and immediately dealt with. Reality dealt with this. These 9-year-old females, triplets, yeah, now I've learned a lesson that they get burnt if they spend too much time out in the sun. And you can tell them this is, now you've got the privilege of showing them this is what you do when you get sunburned. You move them out the day. You also can tell them that you can prevent this by properly using sunscreen. Even though I have issues with putting chemicals on your skin deliberately, but that's a whole nother issue. Skin cancer went up since we started using sunscreen. That's all I'm trying to say. So, but not all sunscreens are equal. So that's also, I can say that as well. So there may be some that are perfectly healthy. I'm just saying, be careful which ones you choose.
Okay.
And I'm not saying not to. I would never do that because you're risking both ways, right? You're going to have to make a personal choice what risks you take in life. And just say that you're dumping chemicals on your body all the time. It's not a good thing. Now, you go to the beach 2-3 times a year. Yeah, put sunscreen on, knock yourself out, right? If you're lathering yourself in sunscreen every day, you may want to be very, very careful about which ones you choose.
Okay.
How's that for the actual, how I actually genuinely feel about that, right? Yeah. Any subject.
And I didn't know that.
I'm not a fan of deliberately slathering a bunch of chemicals, petrochemicals on your body to protect you from nature. Just there's see something squirrely about that. But at the same time, skin cancer is a real thing, and people who spend a lot of time in the sun are more susceptible to it, and so these things have to be balanced. I'm not irrational. You do it 3 times a year, you're probably fine. It's probably not an issue. You do it every day. Oh God, you got to be careful what you put in there. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I am going to get myself in so much trouble for this thing. Okay, let's move on.
My wife of 4 years cheated on me tonight after my birthday 2 days ago. Should I divorce her or talk to her?
Well, my suspicion is she's probably been doing it longer than that, because there's nothing special about it. Means there's nothing special about your birthday, right? So she was doing her own thing. So you are going to have to talk to her, and you will very likely, I suspect, end up in divorce, because that's where that goes most of the time. Because at this stage, your relationship is largely over, and you just don't know it.
That's not Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's her fault. She brought this about.
Well, relationships are complicated things. She could have been feeling lonely and neglected, and
Then you end the relationship.
I'm not saying I'm not, but nobody's without fault on this.
Well,
generally on these things.
true.
If he can't look in the mirror, and then his next relationship isn't going to be any better. Now, and again, it's one of these things. This is a drunken one night moronic thing that men have a tendency to be able to get over better than women can, or is it an actual, relationship and they have broken something more deeply than physical? Those are actually two different questions. How you answer them is yours, but they are two different questions. All right. What's next?
My husband refuses to help me fix our dishwasher. Any advice?
Because he doesn't know how. and here's something about men who aren't handy men. They don't like feeling incompetent. They already know they're not handy, right? He's probably done things like this before, and they end up worse. He ends up calling a professional to come fix it anyway. And so it's cheaper just to call the professional at the beginning. And he doesn't want to stop you from doing it, because if you want to try, knock yourself out, he's just not competent in it. And there's one thing: don't ask somebody to do something they know they're not competent in. You're setting them up for failure. You're asking them to fail. Not all men are handy at that kind of thing, right? He's got many good qualities. Fixing a dishwasher apparently isn't one of them, right?
Yeah.
Do all of his other good qualities, is he just actively refusing not to because he doesn't like doing things? Or does he do all the other stuff he needs? But you've got to, I can't fix a dishwasher. And is that what he's going? I can't. I don't know how. It frustrates me. I'll become the person I don't want to be. I would rather pay someone to come in here and fix the dishwasher than go through this. Right? It's not worth that much. I'd rather buy a new dishwasher than try to fix this dang thing. Right? And not all repairs are the same. Right? Some repairs are just swap it out a part and off you go. And some repairs, it's a simple repair, but you got to rip the dishwasher apart to get to it. Right? And it's actually easier we got a new washing machine simply because it was easier to get a new washing machine than to fix the stupid thing.
Ew.
Right? It wasn't a big fix, except you had to get the person out here. And by the time you did all the numbers, it was literally the same cost as buying a new washing machine without all the hassle. So you just buy the new washing machine. Why wouldn't you? Right? And this is the same kind of thing. Now, the other washing machine was quieter, but this one washes clothes just as well. So anyway, just call your girlfriends over and have a dishwasher fixing party. If he asks you if you're not handy, of course, this is probably not the greatest example because she's clearly handy. But if he needed help, changing out the alternator on his car, how useful would you be? You'd feel silly just out there holding a flashlight, right? That's what you could do if you're not handy. Now, that could actually be very helpful, but you don't feel that as you're sitting there holding a flashlight. You feel useless and out of place. So, I don't know. If you want him help, maybe change your approach. Maybe stop saying he's not helpful. Approach it with a little empathy. He's not handy. Just don't ask him to be handy if he's not. Let him. Just don't. That's my suggestion. This is one of those guys. He's just not handy. Just don't ask him to do it. Okay. What's next? Get it yourself. You can do it. That's my suggestion. You got this. You don't need his damn help. You're a 29-year-old independent woman who wants to fix her own damn dishwasher, and you've got University of YouTube. You've got friends and people you can call on for help. So you got this. You don't need his help. What you need is to clear your schedule. Everything else, if you've got kids, have them keep the kids busy, take them out for a day, whatever it is, clear it out so you can just take a whole day to do it. You can take a whole day to do that 1-hour job. Go ahead. You got it. and in the end, be thankful he didn't help you, because that one day job would have taken two if he had been helping you, because he has no clue what he's doing, and he would have been faking it like he did, and we'd have screwed everything up.
Y'all do that?
How do you think we get through life? Y'all, that confidence is just because, sure, I'll try. It's because we've tried many things before. Yeah, sometimes it goes right. I got this one. Do you know how to do it? I'll figure it out. I've done stuff similar, maybe. We got it. We do it all the time. We make stuff up all the time. We don't actually tell you we know how to do it. If you actually listen to our words, we're very careful how we choose. It sounds like we know what we're doing, but we actually don't tell you we know what we're doing. We say, we'll try, we'll give it a whirl. Yeah, I give it a whirl. That's where those things came from. No, I don't actually know what I'm doing, but I'll try. Didn't you know this?
No.
Oh, listen to what we actually say. Be very, very careful with our words. Okay, what's next?
Husband thinks my need for verbal affirmation is self-serving and greedy. I'm feeling extremely invalidated. Is this a hill to die on? I would.
Well,
because it's a basic.
Well, my guess is here there's a definition of extremes, right? That can become that can be very overly needy. If you need it all the time and your partner is the only one who's there to give it to you, that is a life suck.
No, it's not all the time.
We don't know where they are in that scale. Right? My guess is there's lots of middle ground between these two people. There's probably room for negotiation. That's kind of my guess. Right? She wants more than she's getting. My guess is he'll be willing to give her some, but he's afraid if he gives her some, she's just going to want everywhere. And at some point, it does become self-serving, and it does become a crutch, essentially a codependent relationship. If you need your husband all the time for your self-affirmation, you're barking up the wrong trees. You're going to end up not being happy because you're not finding happiness within yourself. You're needing outside affirmation. Now, it's perfectly reasonable to expect him to, congratulate when you have something that you feel you're successful, like you've reached 3 months of smoking. Yay! Right? That's a success.
That's in 2 days.
So that's, I'm a low enthusiasm person, so I have to kind of fake these kind of things, but you appreciate the effort.
I really do. It means a lot to me.
I kind of have to fake them because I don't have natural enthusiasm. So, but you appreciate the effort. And so I'll throw out the yays and the cheers and the things, even though I feel really weird doing those kinds of things, but it's my nature. But you need those things, but you don't ask for them every day. Right?
No.
You want them on the special things. And if she needs it, hey, all the time for doing routine things, that's annoying. It's not going once a week. Hey, I appreciate everything you did for me this week. That's something different than having to give affirmations every hour on the hour because, well, damn it, you're going to give them to me. See what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And where on that line is this couple at the moment? My guess is because of reasons we don't know about, they're both sitting on the extremes.
They're going to have to meet somewhere in the middle.
And it's probably better for your relationship if you start now, because don't start digging trenches. So is it a hill to die on? No, it's a hill to get off of, for both of you to get off your damn hills and go meet in the valley and remember why you're together. Okay, what's next?
What kind of romantic thing can a girlfriend do for a boyfriend?
Okay, well,
romantic.
Stop thinking of romantic when it's in. Most boyfriends wouldn't know a romantic thing if you smashed them upside the head with it. Do you want to be romantic? Just plan the evening and stuff that he would like to do, right? If he likes to go miniature golfing, go miniature golfing. Know what you want to eat. Know which restaurants you want to eat at. Just plan your evening. That's it. If you really want to do and have an evening out and have him have a nice evening out, plan an evening. And not everything has to be just for him. Just plan the damn thing. You can go to a restaurant you want it. Just know what you want to eat. Don't make a big deal out of it. Make the planning. Yeah. And if you want to talk about romance, that's even easier. Just make the planning. just be the one to initiate. It's the most romantic thing you can ever do for your other partner. Yeah. Just saying. Men are easy. You don't have to you don't need flowers, and you don't need any of that stuff. We just need to be felt like we've been thought of and our life made easy.
Yeah.
That's it. Men go through everything. We just want our life to be easy. And the easier you can make our life, even for just a day or for an hour or for 2, it's the most romantic thing on the world for us. We're not romantic in the same way you guys are. And if you want a romantic evening for yourself, we will go along. Just make it easy for us. Plan it. Don't expect a romantic evening and for us to come up with everything. We don't know. I want to go here. I want to do this. I want to have chicken for dinner. Okay, great. I can plan all that. I can do that. I can pay for all this. Sweet. You want to plan it? I'll pay. We'll go. We'll have a great time.
Y'all just don't know what you're doing.
No. And the handful of us that do make the rest of us look really, really bad. Because there's just enough of them for the rest of us to look really bad. That's annoying. Okay, what's next?
I bought tickets for my partner without asking him, and he got upset. How can I have handled this better? Okay, apparently these tickets were expensive. And she bought several in case they wanted to take family or friends with them. And he's pissed.
Okay, is it because
they're expensive? She didn't ask.
Okay, now was it something he was looking forward to, or something you were looking forward to?
She was.
Okay, see, there's the problem. If you had bought him a present as a surprise thing and wanted to take all the thing, then it's fine. If you want to buy something for yourself that's expensive, it's rightful you should at least inform somebody that you would like to do this before you do it. It's one thing to give someone a surprise gift for them. It's another thing to give someone a surprise gift for yourself. Especially if you have a family budget and it's a large expense. Now, if you have your own budget and you take it out your own budget.
It was.
Are we sure?
Yes, she said so.
Well, yeah, just because you say so doesn't necessarily mean so. But and they may have a relationship where large expenses are usually talked about, and she's kind of violated something that he has to go through. Like if he wants to buy a motorcycle, it costs the same kind of thing. Can he do it without asking her? Would she be mad?
Ooh.
You know, he wants to go buy a boat. Can he do it without her being angry? You know, it depends on the nature of your relationship. Some relationships you can. It's your money. You can do what you want with it. You know, other relationships, you bring home a motorcycle or a boat, you can get your head chopped off and rightfully slow because you violated the constraints of the agreed upon relationship. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, did she violate the kind of agreed upon boundaries of the relationship? And maybe those boundaries need to be renegotiated. It happens in relationships all the time. You know, there's nothing wrong with renegotiating the boundaries, but you're supposed to do it beforehand. So here's my suggestion. Go apologize to him for not discussing the issue beforehand. Don't apologize for buying the tickets or doing all that. Apologize for not having the discussion beforehand and move on.
Yeah.
Easy solution. Okay.
All right. Everyone misgenders my youngest son. Okay, apparently he's 4 years old. And he's just adorable. And she dresses him in, you know, greens and blues and things like that. It's, kind of non-gender stuff.
So they're guessing, and they're guessing wrong. What do you expect from people? If you actually want them to gender them properly, you're going to have to dress them as the way that you want them thought of. Otherwise, people are left to guess, unless you're going to put a tag on them or something, right? If you want them to be viewed as they are presented, then you have to present them as you want them viewed. Otherwise, people are left to guess. And how can you blame people for guessing? It looks like a boy. And at 4 years old, it's hard to tell sometimes, even, right? You can't tell. Boys and girls are awfully similar at 4 years old. So if it's important to you that people gender them properly, you're going to have to give them clues as to what gender you want them to view them as.
Okay.
It's just reality. It's should it be that way or what or not? Well, it's should or nothing. It just is. It's whether, life ain't fair. And because of it, what's fair to you is not fair to other people. You're asking other people to gender someone properly who they don't know and who you are sending unclear signals. And what do you expect? If it's important to you, send the proper signal. If it's not important to you, what does it matter? Or 4, they'll figure out, they've got a long life ahead of them. My suggestion is to not worry about those kind of things so much. You'll all be much happier in the long run, because that's not what matters, right? It's really not. Okay, what's next?
Why does holding a baby make me so tired?
Well, you're likely tired when you hold the baby, and because you're having to sit and calm down and relax, that tiredness that you're already feeling is allowed to express itself. You're not suppressing it anymore, right? Because when you're holding a baby, in order to hold a baby properly, you have to be calm yourself, right? You have to calm down if you want the baby to be calm. And so that very nature of itself, if you happen to be tired, that tiredness is going to now say, oh, wait, it's calm down time. I can come out now. We can sit down and relax. And, your body doesn't know it's not relaxed time, but it is, because you're telling it it's relaxed time. And so, yeah, it's just nature. And it's a wonderful thing, because when the baby's calm and the mama's calm and you guys lay down together and you sleep, it's a wonderful, beautiful thing where babies and mothers sleep together. And so, just saying, nature's a cruel and beautiful, wondrous mistress. And one time someone understands it, the world will end the next day. I'm determined. Okay, what's next?
Do your older kids know your salaries?
My older kids? No, my younger ones do. But it comes up when it comes up. It's not really it's not a taboo or a subject of common discussion. So I don't know, maybe your family is different. It's just one of those things.
We don't discuss money.
No, it's just not generically. It's not a topic of common discussion.
It's not.
No, does it come? Will it come up every few years, I suppose, in generic conversations talking about stuff? I suppose maybe around tax time, there's a opportunity for these kind of things to come up if you're having a long conversation with one of your children or something. But it's not something we actively look out to discuss. How's that for that answer? Okay.
How to tell my kids we're no longer getting a divorce?
You tell them you're no longer getting a divorce. That's actually one of the easier conversations you can have, unless your kids think you're better off apart, which is not actually unreasonable. Your children may have a view of your own marriage that you don't. So, yeah, your kids could think you're better off not together. It's not impossible to happen. But as generically speaking, most children have the kind of Disney view of these things. They want their parents back together regardless of consequences, and we'll be damned. So it's usually one of the easier questions. Hey, we spent some time. We've worked through our issues. We're going to give this a try again. Generically speaking, they usually receive that well.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, unless of course they think you're a moron, and then they'll tell you that. But
they will too.
They will do that. That will be the conversation where they will feel free to tell you that this is stupid. But if they're going to tell you that, you already know that, and you're already prepared for it. So, there's only two ways that goes. I guess it could be ambivalence. Yeah, we've heard this one before, kind of thing. But we'll see. Most you got what, 2/3, 66, 70% chance that they're going to be happy. How's that? So don't worry so much about it. And there's nothing you can do about the other response anyway, so don't worry about it. No, that.
Prove them wrong.
Yeah, there you go. Or not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just do your thing and don't worry about their feelings so much. Worry about your relationship, and the rest will take care of itself. Okay.
How do single parents do it? Okay, this is a guy who one day a week he has his 2 kids by himself while mom has to do something. I forget what it was. And he doesn't understand. How do single parents do it?
Well, because that's what you have to deal with every day. It just becomes your daily thing, just like anything else. You adapt and overcome. We're humans. We've been doing it since the beginning of freaking humanity. It is what it is. People do it every day. There's no secret to it. It's like saying, what's the secret of walking? There's no secret to it. You just learn how to do it. And everybody has their own solution. So there's not some one way, right? Some people do it by being highly organized. Some people do it by screw it and letting, a lot of the stuff just go to the wind. Stuff that's not important just doesn't get done, until it does. And none of these, I'm not going to say either one is better than the other, because whatever's successful, whatever gets you good children into good adults is successful. I don't care what your method is. Does it work? So your children, you end up with good human beings at the end of the dang thing. And if the answer is yes, congratulations, you did a good job. On occasion, people end up being good human beings despite their parents. But but that's not actually a very high percentage. So most of the time you need at least adequate parents to become a good human being. And so you just try. The nobility is in the effort, not in necessarily success. Success is defined 20 years from now, right? You don't know what that's going to look like. You have no clue. So you just try to be the best parent you can on any given day. Some days you're not going to be as good as you want to be, and other days you're going to be the biggest rock star in the freaking planet, and you realize that the reality is somewhere in between. And you just get up in the next day and do the same damn thing. And next thing you know, 10 years have passed. Then the next thing you know, it's graduation day. And the next thing you know, you're a freaking grandparent. You're going, what the hell happened? And that's how you do it. There's no secret. You just do it because you have to. You just figure it out the same way you figure out the rest of your life. Just figure it out. And the same way you get through your life now. A lot of help, friends, family, communities. Just lots of help. Okay, what's next?
What teenager age would you be okay with your kids flying without a parent? Now, she has her husband, she's stepmom to a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old.
Now they can fly.
And she doesn't understand why he says they're too young.
Because he's afraid, but they're both old enough to fly. But that's, there may be other issues there. Or there could be, individual issues with the child. These age things are universal. Some child could be perfectly fine flying at 12, while another at 15 you wouldn't set on the world by themselves to end your life. You get lost on the way to the bathroom. You can't go to an airport. Are you kidding me? It's not even necessarily do anything wrong. Just get lost. right? Get on the wrong plane. Who knows?
I was 9 years old and I went to Denmark. I had a 4-hour layover in New York.
Yeah, well, that was a vastly different time.
It really was. That was 50 years ago.
Yeah, that
Over 50 years ago.
flying was a vastly different experience back then.
I was accompanied. I had stewardesses take me from here to there, and they sat with me during well, she worked, but during the 4-hour layover, I hung out with a stewardess. She kept an eye on me.
Yeah, and they don't have time for that. The tickets don't cost enough now to have that kind of service. You paid for that kind of service, right? There was a cost. And so is that better or worse? Don't know. We have democratized transportation. Is that a good or a bad thing? Don't know. Yeah, you lose something. Do you lose something? Some of the specialty of travel? Yeah, you do.
But I'll tell you, it changed me as a person. Yeah. I went twice to Denmark, 9 and 13. I was raised in a Southern Baptist home and I went to Denmark, one of the most socially open countries on the planet.
Yeah, well, how'd that one work out?
It was great because I always felt out of place with the Southern Baptists. And
it's easy to feel out of place
in that
the
family. I felt like something was wrong with me. And then I went to Denmark and no, there's nothing wrong with me. In fact, my grandmother worshiped me. She thought I was amazing. It was an eye opener. It changed my entire view on life.
Yeah, well, it's easy to feel out of place with Southern Baptists. They're a very narrow group of people. It's fine if you fit in, but if you're not a fit in,
the whole family was Southern Baptist. Every single one of them.
Yeah. That's why some people get out. That's what the military was for.
That's why I joined the Army at 17. I had to get out of that little town.
Yeah, well,
2 traffic lights. I'm not kidding you. It's a little town.
Hey, yeah, 2 traffic lights. That's a big town. What are you talking about?
They have 3 now.
Hey, it's growing. Okay, what's next?
How do you stop yourself from trying to protect your kid from everything?
Oh, that's actually quite difficult because that instinct you have isn't going to go away. And my guess is this is a woman writing because men don't generally have this problem. Some do, but most men don't. Because it's hard, right? Because as a woman, this is one of these things is why you actually have the 2 parents. And, the protective role and the encouraged to do stupid stuff role, you can be filled by whoever, but you need 2 people. You need someone to overprotect them and someone to tell them, no, go ahead and try it. They learn many life lessons that way. One, they learn to not be afraid of everything, but they also need to learn to be afraid of things, right? Life's a balance. They need to be willing to try new things. They need to be willing to get hurt emotionally and physically, or to at least risk it if you want to succeed, right? If you want to find a mate, you have to risk being hurt. If you want to have a successful relationships, you have to risk being hurt. And where do you learn that? You learn that in reality. You learn that as a young kid playing ball, climbing trees. You actually learn that there's risks and rewards. You learn how to balance those. And if you never have the opportunity to balance those, you don't have the ability to, what's the word I'm looking for? Navigate your emotions. You lose that because at some point in your teenage years, you start putting those lessons together, right? You start applying those old lessons of, you don't put your hand on a hot stove, and you're careful with your relationships because you can get burnt. Those analogies start connecting. And so as you go through life, and so for you, how to try and actually come back to answer the questions, how do you stop yourself from doing that? Is you understand that by overprotecting, you're not allowing your children to develop into their full selves. And you just have to be more judicious when to choose to interfere. It's not that you're never going to interfere, right? You still don't want to let them touch the stove with the hot stove with their hand, right? You're still going to prevent them from doing that. But yeah, maybe you let them go skateboarding. You know, maybe you let them go learn how to go on a BMX bike or whatever it is kids do these days. You know, maybe you let them do that when you otherwise wouldn't have, because it's dangerous. Yeah, it is. Riding a skateboard is dangerous. You know, you can get knee pads, you can get elbow pads, you can put a helmet on, but it's still dangerous. But so is life. And he has to learn that risk-reward ratio. And they can't do that if they don't have the opportunity. So I don't envy you, but I do respect the fact that you know you're trying to overprotect your children and you don't want to do that. And that's a good sign that you're not going to.
Yeah.
So, you know, just be judicious when you're going to interfere. That's my suggestion. Bite your tongue, bite your fingers, whatever you need. You know, you know, find a comforting movie to watch while they're out there doing sneak stuff. You say, you know, this is not smart, you know, whatever that your instinct is telling you to not let them do. You know, it could be as simple as they want to play football and they don't want them to play football because it's dangerous. And yes, it is. You know, but what they learn, the teamwork, the sacrifice for something more than themselves, you know, the learning how to be individual in a team setting, all these unique things that you learn on like something like team sports, you know, it overpowers that danger for most, not for all. Be judicious is my question. Okay. What's next?
We got more questions.
Okay.
My manager forgot she approved my time off and is now trying to write me up as a no-call, no-show.
Well, I've never cared about those things. So that's my first suggestion, is stop caring about them. Who cares if they write you up? Because if you're a good employee, it's not going to matter how many times they write you up. They're never going to let you go. They're just not. You can write you up as many times as they want. They're not going to let you go. Now, the other thing is, she may have forgotten to do her part. And so she may actually be in trouble for you not being there. She approved your time off, but she has to input it in her system and send it up for the higher ups to inform the higher ups that she approved time off. She forgot to do that. So now she's covering her butt. Or in these tough economic times, there may be layoffs coming ahead, and it may be time for you to go looking for another job because you're on the list and they're looking for reasons to fire you before they let you off. So, you know, if they can get away with firing people instead of laying them off, you know, it's hard to say exactly what happened, you know, without being, you know, but those are the three common occurrences of these things. And I personally never bothered to play. You just don't, you know, once the point where you're at a pace of employment that starts playing games like this, I start looking for new places. I don't have time for this kind of thing, right? I don't care enough about you to play these kind of games, right? I'm valuable. I can go somewhere else.
There you go.
So that's my thing. Now, if you really like your job and that kind of thing, I don't know. There's probably some type of recourse if you have, especially if you have some paperwork trail, you know, emails or something that says that you've got that says you approved, then you can deal with it that way. Whole HR nonsense. But I usually didn't care enough about these kind of things. So, well, I'm going to write you. I don't care. I really don't care. You can do whatever you want. You gonna send me home for the day? Sweet. I'll go deliver Amazon packages and make as much money as you were going to pay me. You know, it's fine. So, well, probably not as much, but you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
You can cover the cash costs. So anyway, that's my suggestion: is A, to not care enough, and B, there's probably something behind the scenes, and it's probably a sign that you want to look for something better, a better atmosphere. Okay, what's next?
How can I deal with a worker who doesn't get any sleep at night?
What do you mean? Is it affecting his job, or is
Yeah.
he just whining?
No, it's affecting his job.
Well, then you don't deal with his sleep at night. You deal with his performance. Whether he gets sleep at night or not is only relevant if he wants it to be relevant and he's willing to do something about it. But for you, your issue is you're not performing your tasks. Now, maybe the question becomes, what's wrong? Is there something wrong? Something going on in your life? You're dealing with cancer. You're taking care of your sick mother at night and you're just not getting any sleep. Does he have a new baby? And okay, this is just going to go on for 6 months, and in 9 months, the sleep patterns will calm down and everything will go back to normal, right? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
It kind of depends, but you have to bring up the lack of production, how it's impacting. Impacting the team is where you try to stand, right? Because if they're dealing with a sickness or they're dealing with a new baby or something, everybody's compassionate. You don't want to be too hard on them. Hey, you still got to do the basics, but
Yeah.
you still got to get your basics done. But we're not going to ask extra of you. We're not going to expect more of you than the basics during these difficult times. And all right, if you're sick and dealing with cancer or something, hey, all right, we'll take some stuff off your plate so you can do the stuff that's on your plate. You can still do well, right? Your compassion might be due, or he's working a second job that's impacting his first one. That's actually a vastly different conversation, right? Because it is. If he's dealing with a sick thing, it's vastly different than as if he was working a different job. And that, hey, I know you need money, but I need my work done. I'll be compassionate with you to a point, but so it's just a difficult conversation, and the reaction you have to it really will depend on circumstances. Okay.
How to handle a suddenly cold colleague?
You don't. You let things be. They're probably going through something personal, and they're just not in the mood to talk. And you don't want to, so don't. Give them the freedom to be what they need to be. Let them do their work. And let them be. Now, if you are a manager for them, you may want to ask if things are okay. But you don't know what's happened in their lives. They may be dealing with something that is taking a lot of their emotional time, and they don't have any emotional bandwidth for you. They don't owe you any. So, it might be time for some compassion. Now, if you're the manager, if you're responsible for them, it may be to ask, hey, are things okay? Is there anything we can do to help? I'm worried about you. But if you're just a colleague, someone else, you give them the space they need right now. Because that's what they're showing they need. If you happen to have a close personal relationship, you can ask. But as just a colleague, you leave them alone. You give them the space they need. Okay, what's next?
Should I post about my negative experience with the job I am leaving on LinkedIn? I don't know how to pronounce that.
LinkedIn. It's just the space would be right there.
LinkedIn.
Yeah. So no. Because their next job is going to think they're going to do that to me, and are they being reasonable or not? I get the instinct, but you're looking for work, so the answer is no. You keep that stuff to yourself. Right? It's not even about burning bridges. It's about the next people you're going to work with not knowing you're going to burn bridges. They don't know how reasonable you are or not being. So for them, it's this person airs dirty laundry in public. I don't want my dirty laundry aired. I'm not going to take the risk. Everybody has dirty laundry. Nobody's perfect. Everybody has, things happen everywhere. So and if you can get misconstrued very easily if someone deliberately wants to misconstrue things. A one-off event can become culture just by the way it's presented the first time people hear it. And so they're not going to take the risk. So the answer is no. And do you really want to do that? I know it'll emotionally feel good, but really? Isn't that a little high school? It just seems a little high school for me. You want to live your life with more dignity than that would be my suggestion. Okay, what's next?
Performance review. Should you do a self-assessment if given the option?
No. I wouldn't. One, because I think those things are stupid. I wouldn't just talk to me. Don't sit there and give me right. Don't ask me to tell me what I'm good or bad at. You haven't been watching, then I'm not going to tell you. To a point, I guess. It depends who your review is to and what's it for. And do you want to climb corporate ladders or not? My obsession with not playing with corporate games may be coloring my my answers to this here question. So I will soften this a bit. You should do it dependent upon what you think the culture of your company needs for you to accomplish your goals within it. And I meant every single word of that. I did. I'm serious. Those were carefully chosen words. And so it's going to completely depend upon your goals within the company you are working for. If you want to climb the ladder and you want to have a certain perspective known about you or seen from you, then yes, you answer that question very carefully and with a very manicured response. Right? Mm-hmm. You manicure your response where even your faults are viewed as pluses. It's all BS, but what do you care? The whole thing's BS. The whole process is BS anyway. Play the game. If you just want to get this thing done with, get your yearly raise, no, they already know. You know the culture of the company you work for. And if you're just there to collect a paycheck, don't spend the time. It's not going to matter. So there's that. Now, if you just want to practice, if you just want to do it for practice, for giggles, they're paying you to do it anyway. So, go for it. No one cares about those. Only people who care about those things are people who want to climb the corporate ladder and people who are scanning the people who are wanting to climb the corporate ladder. Ooh. So if that's not you, then don't worry about them. Is my suggestion, but all cultures vary. So sometimes things that are an option aren't really an option. So I'll leave it at that. God, I am anti-work tonight. Okay, what's next?
How to maintain motivation while looking for a new job.
Oh God, that it is. Looking for work is it's a soul crushing thing. It's a soul crushing experience. It really is. It's so dehumanizing, right? You become a piece of paper, and nowadays it's not even a piece of paper. It's an electronic file and a voice on a phone if you're lucky. And it's other than the fact that you need to feed yourself, put food on the table and a roof over your head, the motivation can wane. It really can. And how do you push your way through it? It is the same way you push your way through anything. You just push your way through it. Just keep doing it. And essentially you can processize it so it becomes depersonalized, would be my suggestion. You set up your thing, you do it, you from 9 to noon or whatever, you do one thing from, whatever the schedule is. It's not really relevant on the modern day when the schedule is. Just have a schedule to do that. Like it's your, I don't want to say like it's your job, but it's your schedule. And you go look for the work during that schedule and treat it like, just kind of one of those routine things you do. Depersonalize it as much as possible, because that's the only way you can get through it without feeling dehumanized, which is odd. I'm sitting here telling you to depersonalize it so you don't feel dehumanized. But yes. Yeah. I know. It doesn't sound like it makes any sense, but trust me, it does. I know it doesn't make any sense, but trust me, it makes sense. Y'all are gonna have to trust me on that one, as someone who has looked for many, many jobs. Okay.
What's an easy job that one can get quickly?
You can gyms, those 24-hour gyms and things like that. Those are the easiest places to get a job quickly. They have high turnover. So go look for a job at your local gym, checking people in.
Uh-huh.
They're relatively easy. You check people in, you sell people overpriced water, and you wipe down equipment. It's what you do. Well, and then you have to deal with the people who go to the gym at 3 a.m., but that's a whole nother that's a whole nother issue about that kind of a job. But yes, you can get those. Are relatively easy to get. You can get them relatively quickly because they have high turnover and they don't have high standards, right? Can you breathe? Can you type into a computer? And can you wipe down equipment? Okay. We are on to our intimacy question.
Yes, we are. My boyfriend was silent the first time I gave him a job.
Well, yeah. Well, it's not always. What do you say during that kind of thing?
Encouragement. How about some direction?
Well, that's a little presumptuous. See, these are those things that we don't know what you want, what you prefer. He doesn't know enough about you yet to actually have any active involvement in it. Doesn't know what you like during that type of activity. So yeah, these are just inexperienced people. They don't know, and not all people are noisemakers during lovemaking.
Yeah.
So he tends to be quiet. But my guess is you're talking about the first time. Yeah, the first time for these kind of things are awkward because he doesn't know what you want. He doesn't want to cross some boundary, because especially these days, young men are very afraid of crossing boundaries, so they're going to stay way far from them. So if you want something during this activity, you're going to have to tell them what you want and say it's okay if they're under 30. Sadly.
Yeah.
Maybe you should, whether that's a good or a bad thing, I'm not going to say, but I kind of think it's a little sad, but it is what it is.
Well, my thing is he can't respond to what she wants unless she tells him what she wants.
Yes, but the thing is that used to be experimentation in type of thing used to be a little freer. These days, you have to essentially ask for anything. If you want to put the hand on the back of her head, you're going to have to ask her if she likes that. When we used to just try it and she said she didn't like it, then you'd stop. And, I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying it's a different dynamic and women are going to have to adjust.
Okay.
Men have adjusted. Now women are going to have to adjust.
Yeah.
Okay. Actually, if you go look into the dating scene, my God, it's a mess because of all this stuff. No one knows. Men have adjusted to what women have told us for 10 years they want us to do. They want us to not approach people, and now women are mad because we're not doing all these things that they expect. And so men have essentially gone, well, I give up. They walked away. And they'll go, well, how come no men are dating? How come no one's approaching? Because we don't know what to do anymore. We're mad if we do. We're mad if we don't. We don't know. We're just going to go play video games. Screw it. That's what they've done. And I'm like, I am so glad I am old and not doing that. Then you just, good Lord. Because I get both sides of it, you know. It would, as a woman, be tired with people approaching you all the time and whatnot. But at the same time, you tell us we need to approach you all, and that just and so yeah, it becomes
That's how you approach.
No, because I get it. If you're an attractive woman, you're going to get approached a lot,
Yeah.
and so I get that it would get annoying. But the consequence of telling men not to approach women is now no women are getting approached at all, and they're all feeling that they're being left, they're missing something, which they are. Right now, even attractive women aren't getting approached, and they're going, "How come nobody's approaching me?" Because you told us not to.
Well, who's the stupid idiot who told men not to approach them?
Well, young women.
Not a good idea.
Yes, it's again, we tried to solve a problem with these hard, fast rules rather than telling people, "Hey, can you approach people respectfully?"
Yeah.
You know, and disengage respectfully. You know, can we be civil? Can we have a little civilization around here? Is all I ask for. Okay, let's move on before I get myself in a lot of trouble. Okay.
My boyfriend is asking for a boob job. I'm a B cup. I'm 18 for reference.
Don't get a boob job because
no,
someone asks
you're
you
not
to.
done.
Well, it's not even that you're not done. It's you don't change your body because someone else wants you to. Maybe if you are uncomfortable with your body and you've reached a point where you want something different, then okay. And I wouldn't personally encourage it, but you know, I could understand it. But you'd never do it for somebody else. Those are something you only do for you. You don't do it for somebody else. And if the fact that somebody else is asking you for that to do that is I don't want to say it's a red flag, but it's not a good sign in my personal opinion. Right? He's superficial. He likes you, but he wants something visually different. Well, tough. That's not how the life works. If you care about visuals, then you go for visuals. If you care about the person, then you get the person you want. And you know, hopefully he matures out of that. But considering how many 40 and 50-year-old men have the same kind of perspective, I don't necessarily see that happening. All right, what's next?
Okay, I don't want to have sex with my boyfriend anymore. Any advice? Okay, it's messy. He's not that good. You know, she loves him, but she's just not that attracted to him in that way. She finds him, she likes his company. He's an interesting person to talk to.
All these things don't look. This is a question where you've reached the point in your relationship where you have to make the decision whether you're in it or not. And quite frankly, she's not. She knows right now that she doesn't want this as not a long-term, which is not a marriage thing. She doesn't want to be with this person for 40 years. She doesn't. Because otherwise you don't feel that way in your 20s. Now, unless there could be a health thing, always an issue at 24. They're both 24, mid-20s. So, I mean, hormones are still raging at 20s. So, you know, you're assuming they're still healthy at 20s. The lack of a attractiveness to your partner is a sign that your relationship is waning. You know, when you're 50 and 60, a lack of physical, it could be lots of things. I hurt. You know, sex is uncomfortable. There's all kinds of reasons where you might want to not have sex anymore, or it might just not be pleasurable enough for the consequences that you have to pay. Right? There's the other side of that one. But at 20s, it's just a warning sign that the relationship has run its course.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's neither good nor bad. It's just run its course. These things happen. You move on like adults, and it is what it is. That's my thoughts on that one. Okay.
Okay. Husband asked me to get naked before his friends. I loved it. What's next for me? A divorce.
No.
Yeah, because I love you so much. You're my one and only. You're the one. Take your clothes off from my friends.
Yeah, but she liked it. She got off on this kind of thing. He didn't ask her for no reason. He knew that she's an exhibitionist type of thing at heart, and now she got a chance to. They're just exploring what they want to do. If it had been any response other than "I loved it," then okay, maybe you're correct. But he knows her quite well. And she did exactly what she was wanting to do. What you don't say is that we've had this discussion before, and I've told him that I was interested, that this excites me, and I wanted to do it. And so now finally got to do it, and I really did find this fun. And now what? Now I want to do more. Now what do I do? You have long discussions with your husband about the direction you guys want to take this. Is what you do. She was a willing participant. She was not in any shape, manner, or form manipulated. Whether they are swingers or she's just an exhibitionist, who knows? But somewhere along that line, she liked it. So
I stand by my original answer.
if she asked for it, he gave it to her, and now she likes it. I don't know what the issue is. This is a very common.
It's the breakdown of the respect and the trust.
There is no breakdown of respect and trust because they were all involved in it from the begin with.
No, he's not that interested in her. You know, he wants to share her.
No, she wants to be shared.
Then
You're looking at this as her as some kind of passive participant when clearly she wasn't.
And she's still headed for divorce. This is a wrong road to take.
Maybe, but there's lots of people who have lifestyles like this that succeed.
Have you ever heard of a swingers relationship that worked out? Ever?
Yeah, you go down to Florida, and there's a reason that the STD is the highest rate down there, but divorce is still low. All those old people are getting it on down there with each other, and they're not getting divorced. It's because they're old enough to.
Okay, so one age group, the aged.
Yeah, the aged, yes. People who are into that kind of thing have a tendency to find each other, and they knock themselves out. Now, if you're 20s, no, but it doesn't say how old this is.
Yeah.
My guess is these people are in their 40s, and their kids are probably gone, and they're off having a good time now because they don't have any other responsibilities. Or they're young and have no kids and they don't have any responsibilities. And so knock yourselves out, have your fun, and move on. You're all adults. As long as everybody's happy campers and loving what they're doing, knock yourselves out. Just don't do anything that you don't want to do. She loved it.
I think they're deluded.
Well, they may be deluded, but they are happy at the moment. So it's not us to judge. Okay, what's next?
Okay. What's the mindset of a guy that always brings up giving oral, but barely does any foreplay or making me orgasm?
Well, there's a couple of things. One, he could just be playing a game and trying, because women like that kind of thing. So that's what he says to get you into the thing. And then he has no idea what he's doing, so he doesn't. Or you could have a difficult combination and be frustrating. And so therefore, rather than deal with the frustration, you don't deal with it at all. Women with difficult combinations who don't understand they have a difficult combination are not fun in bed.
Oh, really?
No, because They don't understand that the problem is them. Now, whether it's because they can't actually relax, maybe it's a physical, who knows? Maybe it's you don't give enough instructions on, on how to help. Who knows what the issue is, but there's some issue that makes it hard for you to have a difficult combination. And
you know what? I don't understand. I mean, you let the guy give him his best shot, right? I mean, you get, this is not the first time out, but eventually, then it's, hey babe, you want to watch me, do my thing?
that doesn't help. We can't see anything down there. You understand? We're going by feel on a part of our body that we don't generally use for feel. You're all acting like that. Yeah, we've got an intimate knowledge. No, we don't. Like we say, every combination is different. Some are more difficult than others. And if you're someone who has a difficult combination, you have to share that combination with people or understand that you're going to have to help at some stage.
I got a combination that I can pretty much only unlock myself.
Which is fine.
But that doesn't mean that I require that from others. And it doesn't mean I don't enjoy still being with someone. It's not, the orgasm isn't the goal.
Yes, but the thing is, you express that so the person knows that going in.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah,
hey, don't worry about me. It's almost impossible. Just I just like feeling good. It's fine. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah, if it hits, it's nice. If it's not, it's cool. The process is fine.
Yeah, I'm still gonna have a good time.
Yeah. I enjoy the process. Don't worry about the ending. It happens or it doesn't. Yeah. It's fine. You express that, so going in, you're not having some expectation. That's my point. Is it's not that it's not that women who have a difficult conversation are hard. It's that they don't know it. when they have a difficult combination and they don't know that they have a difficult combination, those are the women who are annoying.
I'm just thankful. Do you know that an unusually high number of women never have an orgasm?
I don't think women know what an orgasm is. I think they have it and they just don't know. Personally, I think more women have orgasms.
Oh, you know.
No, I'm just saying. I think it's how we ask that question.
Or maybe they have a lower level one and not an overwhelming one.
They're thinking of, this kind of mythical orgasm rather than the low grade kind of orgasms that are relatively easy. Hey man, men have different level orgasms. Not all orgasms are the same.
Really?
Yeah. Just saying. They're not all the same. So,
well, that's true.
And if they're not all the same for men, then sure in the heck ain't all gonna be
the same for me. So why would I think that men would be any different?
Yeah. You have different. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, some nights are easier than others, right? For no discernible reason, right? Yeah, like we got. Nature is a cruel and unusual mystery.
Oh man,
she's brutal. But yet somehow we all love her anyway, and we are out of here for tonight. We've kicked this can to death. We're out of here. We want to talk. Thanks you guys for coming. We will see you next week. Please remember to love everybody and have a good night.
Good night.